Hello, sixth grade. Your teacher has been taken hostage today by the dark side. Today is May the 4th, and may the 4th be with you. I hope you enjoy Spirit Week this week at ACA, Distance Learning Style. It's proving to be a fun week already. If you want your teacher back, scream her name as loud as you can. Otherwise, she's gone and lost forever. You saved me! Thank you! No, I know it was corny, but I had to do something. But today is May the 4th, and it is our first day of Spirit Week at ACA. It's always a fun week, and I want it to still be fun, even though we're doing it this way. So, and I can't wear that mask any longer. I was about to suffocate in it. So, I hope you're dressed up as something, and either Disney or Star Wars. That's your choices for today. And I'm back to just being myself, Sister Preston, and this is as exciting as it gets. I'm sorry, but I'm going to use this as my pointer, and I hope you've all had a great weekend, and we have 2 weeks left of school, and we can do this. So I want to do a devotion with you this morning about Yoda, and I don't have any Yodas. I raided the boys' closets for some of their toys from long ago, but this was not from long ago. Riley actually got this at Disney World at Christmas, so you can tell we're still pretty big Star Wars fans around here. But I wanted to start this day with the Yoda quote for our devotion. To be Jedi is to face the truth and choose. Give off light or give off darkness. Be candle or light. It is your choice. I'll be right back. Hope you're all ready for this Monday. Several of us were in church yesterday, and it felt so good to be back in the presence of the Lord in our church with our church family. It was just wonderful. But let's get back to this. To be Jedi is to face the truth and choose. You, sixth grade, you, oh, that's cool. You are the only ones who can choose the right path. So how do we take the right path? I'm going to turn this off because the noise is getting a little annoying, but it's cool, isn't it? So how can you choose the right path and avoid falling into darkness? First, you must know what you are aiming for. You need to visualize it. What are we as sixth graders? What are we aiming for? As sixth graders, we're pretty much aiming for seventh grade. If you're graduating from high school, you're aiming for college. If you are a Christian, we are aiming for what? We are aiming for heaven. Know what you're aiming for and visualize it. In which path? Usually when we have a choice, we choose between two things, such as light or darkness. Which path could you experience more joy and happiness? Now, sometimes they say the easy path brings happiness, but for true joy, for true goodness in our lives, we must choose sometimes the path less traveled, and we talked about that poem earlier in the year. Start to listen to the voice of God in your heart, in your consciousness, in your mind, and follow his advice. If you hesitate, always imagine yourself. You are hesitating and you have a choice of light or darkness. Focus on your one decision of light and visualize where you're going. Again, visualize heaven. It's not because you don't know if the path you take is the right one. You know it. You don't have a question about that. You know what's right and wrong. It's a matter of choosing right or wrong. Sometimes when we get on that right path, first we have to just take small steps. Have you ever heard the expression, take baby steps? Baby steps towards the right thing. Keep questioning yourself. Make sure you're always doing the right thing, making the right choice. Remind yourself of your goal. Your goal is heaven. Show how courageous you are and that you are going to exceed your limits. You choose light. Your choices, usually two choices, be a candle or the night. And if you know anything about Star Wars at all, which most of you do, especially Daniel, you know that this guy, he's the dark side, isn't he? He is definitely the dark side. So choose light. In fact, I think I have 3 dark guys up here. I think this is one of my only good guys that I have right here. But so just a little Star Wars for our devotion this morning. I'm going to say it again. This is a famous quote that Yoda has. Not Baby Yoda. He's our more popular one nowadays. But to be Jedi is to face the truth and choose. Give off light or darkness, be a candle or the night. What are you going to choose? And I hope and I pray you all choose light. And this morning we're making a choice of math first. Hooray! I know you're super excited about it. So let's get ready for math and I will see you there. All right. 6th grade, I noticed immediately when I looked at our schedule today that I have a typo on your math work. So I want to talk about that now. And I also put it on Jupiter this morning when I uploaded the video, so I hope you all see that. But for your classwork today, we are doing 1A through H, not just H. You probably thought, ooh, I got lucky. No, you didn't. We're doing 1A through H. We are reviewing equations today. I want to take time to review. In fact, I'm going to do A through D with you, and I want you to do E through H on your paper. But I do want to do A through E with you, and hopefully, A through D with you. And hopefully, as you watch me do them, it's going to help you to see, and I'm going to say the same key words over and over and over. Do what you know. Get your letter by itself. Do the same thing to each side. That's the 3 things I preach. I preach, amen, sister, about equations. Do what you know. Get your letter by itself. Do the same thing to both sides. So let's just jump right in today. I hope you're enjoying equations. I want to say again that I really like them. They take a little bit of thought and they take some organization, but I know you guys can do it. So again, I want to do A through D on the board, and on your notebook paper, I want you to do E through H. This past week when I was looking through your work, you guys are doing such a better job about putting your name and your page number and your subject on your pages for me. Thank you. That is a huge help to me. So let's get started on page 251. Page 251A. All I'm going to do is write them on the board and work them. If you want to write them down and work them with me, you're welcome to put them on the same papers as E through H, just to help you get in the habit. At first, I was going to say you had to do that, but I know that's a lot of writing, so I'm not going to make you do it. But it would be beneficial if you work it out with me. But again, that's up to you. I will only be grading E through H, and that's the last time I'm going to try to say that. So here we go. A is 6y equals 23 plus 7. Can you see me over here? Yes, you can. 6y equals 23 plus 7. I'm going to go, oh, you can't see that. Can you see this? No. Let's go over here by Darth Vader. Do what you know. Is there anything in this one that I know to do? Number 1, do what you know. Let me move my head. Yes, I know how to add 23 plus 7. So I'm going to keep the rest of my problem. 6y equals 23 plus 7. Everybody is what? 30. Step 2. Get my letter by itself. Get letter alone. Like Darth Vader's kind of lonely and alone because he's mean. So I'm going to get my letter alone. All right, let's think about this. How can I get my letter alone? I want to get it alone by doing the opposite of what we're doing. What are we doing to y? We're multiplying. Remember, when there's a letter and a number together and no sign between them, what imaginary sign is there? Multiplication. So I'm multiplying here, and you can't hardly see that. What's the opposite of multiplying? Screaming out, divide. You are correct. I show my division by my division bar. I'm going to divide by 6 so I can get this y, lonely, lonely, lonely. Once I am multiplying by 6, and then if I divide by 6, I'm canceling it. So what am I left with over here? Y all by itself. Yes, that's what I wanted to do. But number 3 says if I do it to one side, do to one side, do to the, and you probably can't see this, do to the other side. Keep those scales balanced. So I divided by 6 over here on this side of the equal sign, so I'm going to divide by 6 here. What am I left with? Y equals 30 divided by 6 is 5. Now I'm going to check just to make sure I'm correct. To check, I'm going to put my new y in up there. 6, what did they say we're doing right here? When they're two side by side, we are multiplying. 6 times 5 equals 23 plus 7. 6 times 5 is 30 equals 23 plus 7. Am I correct? Yes, I am. Now, when you have a problem laid out like this one, you can come back to this and look at it if you put it in your book. That's up to you. I'm going to leave that up to you. Look at the process. All right, let's go to B. I hope this is okay the way I'm doing this for you. I hope it's helpful. All right, B is n divided by 3 equals 15 divided by 5. Step 1 is, get my head out of the way, step 1 is do what I know. Is there anything that I know here? Yes, I know how to divide 15 by 5. N divided by 3 equals what? 3. Step 2, let me get out of the way, maybe you can see it better. Step 2, get letter alone. To do that, I have to do the opposite. What am I doing here? I'm dividing. What's the opposite of dividing? Multiplying. So I'm going to multiply this. Since I'm dividing by 3, I'm going to multiply by 3 so that they both what? Cancel. Step 3, if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. I multiplied by 3 here. I'm going to multiply by 3 here. What am I left with? N equals 9. Now let's check. Let's put my 9 back in. My original problem up here. 9 divided by 3 equals 15 divided by 5. 9 divided by 3, everybody, is 3. 15 divided by 5, everybody, is 3. Am I correct? Yes, I am. When I grade your paper, this is what I'm looking for right there. All right, next one. I know I'm going fast, but I want you to be able to work on your own, but yet I want you to see this done as well. Next one is a little bit different because we're no longer multiplying or dividing, but that's okay. Now we're adding. X plus 9 equals 14 plus 11. Everybody good there? Yes. Step 1 is do what I know. Is there anything here that I know how to do? Yes, I know how to add 14 plus 11. X plus 9 equals 25. And that's just not right. No, it is right. Okay, sorry, I had a moment. Okay. Step 2 is to get my letter alone. All right, I'm adding 9 here. So if you'll remember from last week, to get my letter alone, when I'm adding 9, I want to what? Subtract 9. X plus 9 minus 9 equals 25. Now, I have my 9's canceled because I added and then subtracted, leaving me with zip, zip, zero, nada. What am I left with over here? X equals. But step 3 tells me if I do it to one side, I must do it to the other. Now, 25 minus 9 is, everybody, 16. Keep looking at my wrong problem and it's throwing up different numbers at me. Now, I'm ready to check. I'm going to put my X equals 16. I'm going to put 16 in for X, my original problem. 16 plus 9 equals 14 plus 11. I'm ready to add. Here we go. 16 plus 9 is 25 equals 14 plus 11 is 25. Am I correct? Correctamundo. X equals 16. I wish you were here so you could ask questions if you have them, or I wish I was there with you. Let's go on to D. When you get ready to work, if you didn't write these problems down and you start working on your own and you think, I have no idea how to do this, guess what? I have not been taken captive by the dark side. I'm still here on YouTube. Hooray! Go back and rewatch this video. It will help you. Last one I'm doing with you for today is h minus 5 equals 32 divided by 8. 32, sorry, divided by 8. Step 1, do what I know. Do I know how to subtract h minus 5? Nope. But I do know how to divide 32 by 8, and that answer is 4. Step 2, get your letter all by its lonely self. I'm subtracting 5, so to get h alone, I want to do the opposite, which is what? Add 5. Very good, and then that causes my 5s to cancel. However, step 3, if I do it to one side, I must do it to the other to keep it balanced. Now I'm just left with h equals 4 plus 5 is 9. Let's see if I'm correct. Let's substitute my 9 up here. 9 for my h. 9 minus 5 equals 32 divided by 8. 9 minus 5 is 4. 32 divided by 8 is 4. Am I correct? And hooray! I am. Now that was a super duper fast review. I hope that you're comfortable and ready to do some of these. I want you to do E through H on your paper, and yes, you must check for me. To get these correct, you must check. To get full credit for them, you must check them. Also on your syllabus for today, it says number 3, A through D. Now, number 3, A through D, we are not doing equations. We are doing order of operations. Don't forget, for order of operations, you need, just killed a Star Wars guy. You need your PEMDAS. And that is for 3A through D, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division on the same line, addition, subtraction on the same line. So good luck on math, everybody, today. I'm available on my text my phone, text Jupiter. I'm here if you need me all day long. All day long. I'm on the light side, not the dark side. I don't even think that the light side is not a thing on Star Wars, but anyways, I'm one of the good guys. Give me a call. I'll be glad to help. All right, we're moving on to language after this. I will see you there. 6th grade, we are still talking about adverbs this week. I do want to tell you we're really going to be skipping some pages. Again, due to all of this distance learning and due to the week of sickness that we weren't actually having school and everything, after spring break, before spring break, can't even remember when, we are behind in our books, and I'm so unhappy about that because I like to finish our books. But I'm wanting to hit some high points of everything, so if we skip around, that is why. Today we're going to review adverbs for a quick minute. Let's go ahead and go to page 225, I believe I have on your syllabus. Opening up to page 225. I just want to go over that blue box. Everybody with me? 225. Blue box. Distinguishing adjectives from adverbs. This is where it gets difficult. I told you this last week. You kind of have to ask yourself all the important questions to find out if it's an adjective or if it's an adverb. When looking for adverbs, first find your what? Always, always, always first find your verb and ask your adverb questions. Then look to see if there's an adverb in front of an adjective or another adverb, because remember, it can modify several different things. Remember, adverbs which describe adjectives or adverbs usually tell what? This is all review from last week. How or to what extent. Yesterday, I heard a truly brilliant speech. Heard is a verb. Heard when? Yesterday. Yesterday answers when. So what is it, everybody? It's an adverb, correct. Truly, however, is also an adverb because it describes the adjective brilliant. And remember, truly ends in what? Excuse me, ly. We have those ly adverbs. Use this test to see if it is modifying a word, start again. Use this test to see if a modifying word is an adjective or adverb. You know I love all these little tricks and tests, so pay close attention to this. A completely bewildered mouse tumbled out of the cat food box. That is a dangerous place for that mouse to be. Are both of the words before mouse adjectives? Completely bewildered. Are both of them describing the mouse? Are they both adjectives? Or, hope you're listening closely and paying attention, is one an adverb describing an adjective? You will know the answer if you say each of the words before your noun. This is your little test, and it's an easy one. Completely mouse. Does that make sense? Not necessarily. So completely is not modifying mouse. Bewildered mouse, does that make sense? Yes, it does. Therefore, we know that bewildered is an adjective modifying what? Modifying mouse. That makes sense. And we know that completely is what? It's actually an adverb. To what extent? Describing bewildered. So you can always do that little test. If you think, okay, is this an adjective or an adverb? Put it before your noun. See if it makes sense. Let's go over think back real quick. An adjective should make sense when put right in front of the noun it describes. A predicate adjective should also sound right when you try the word very in front of it. So let's go back and try that with our completely bewildered mouse. Is it very completely? No. So we know that completely is not an adjective. Could it be very bewildered? Yes. So we know that bewildered is an adjective. So there's another simple little test to try. An adverb will answer one of the adverb questions about the word it describes. It should make sense when placed right after the verb. You already know that. I'm going to go down to the last line. You should not have difficulty distinguishing adjectives from adverbs if you've memorized your parts of speech they describe and the questions they answer. So see, your blue boxes in language are important. Going on to page 226. I believe your syllabus says to do page 2. Oh no, think A and B on 226 and 227. So we're skipping page 226. Oh, because they're asking you to decide if it's an adjective or adverb. I don't want to take up a lot of time on that. For one thing, it just takes a lot of time to distinguish between the two because I like to ask your tests of put very or all that. And we're not going to take time to do that. I wish we could because I like it. Going on to page 227. We have not reviewed this blue box yet, so sit up nice and straight in your seats, give me some good posture and some good attention. Do your own job. Do your own job. Adjectives modify only nouns and pronouns. Let me say that again. Adjectives only modify nouns and pronouns. Adjectives do your own job. Don't modify anything else. They cannot modify verbs, adjectives, or adverbs. That is the job of what? An adverb. Can you identify the modifier errors in the following sentences? These are really good examples for you to hear the incorrectness. Roses smell sweetly. Anybody hear that? Roses smell sweetly. We are describing roses here. So roses smell how? It means to say sweet. I wish we were all together. Goliath was sure tall. Problem there. Goliath was what? Goliath was tall. He wasn't sure tall, was he? We're describing Goliath, therefore we don't want the adverb sure in there. This was a real good book report, Jackson. Again, what's wrong with that? We have an adverb in there that does not belong. This was a good book report, Jackson. I have to admit that I play the piano bad. Now, bad here is not an adjective. It's telling us how we play the piano. So what do we want to add to that to make it a proper adjective, a correct adjective? We want to add our ly. I have to admit that I play the piano badly, and yes, that's true with me. I play it badly. I don't play it at all. Well, I play a couple songs. Isabella would say I don't know how to play it all, and she's right. Last one, I feel badly about forgetting your birthday. Now we have our ly here on bad, but bad's not an adverb here. I hate to say it, it's trying to do somebody else's job. I feel what? I hope you're all saying I feel bad about forgetting your birthday. In all of the sentences, the wrong kind of modifier were used. It was trying to do someone else's job. Were you able to make the following corrections? I hope so, with my help. And right here in blue is all the corrections I just made. So we're going to go on down to Think A. And yes, you do need to put Think A on paper, page 227 at the top with language and your name. Change each adjective to its adverb form. So in the first sentence, it is correct. They're using it correctly, but they're just telling you to put it in an adverb form. I'm going to do 1 and 2 with you, so you can do 3 through 11 on your paper. Number 1, he is a poor player. That's correct. Poor is an adjective describing what noun? Player. Let's make it an adverb. Number 1, he plays how? He plays not poor. He plays poorly. Very good for those of you that actually said that. So we changed poor to poorly in its adverb form. Number 2, the sun is bright. That's an adjective. The sun is what? The sun is bright, but let's change it to an adverb. The sun shines how? Not bright. The sun shines brightly. So those are actually easy because all you're doing is adding an ly to each word, making it into an adverb. You guys can do that. I should get a 100% from all of you on that paper. All right, and it also says to do Think B. There is no Think B on page 227. Your teacher's going crazy. So we're going over to page 228 and doing 1 through 10. Ignore the Think B on there. Hope you're watching this so you know that. If not, text me and I'll straighten it out. I'll tell you that I was crazy at the time. 228, I was taken by the dark side when I typed that out. Page 228, look closely. Never use, and we like to do this, but never do it. Never do it, or guess who might come haunt you. Never use sure, real, or bad as adverbs. The adverb forms are surely, really, and badly. And you know, this is actually something I kind of struggle with, using surely, really, and badly instead of sure, real, or bad. And I'll tell you a quick story. But my mother-in-law passed away last year, but my mother-in-law was an extremely intelligent woman. I mean, extremely intelligent. She had her master's degree in teaching, and her favorite thing was English and literature and grammar. And she spoke very correctly. And if anyone ever spoke with incorrect grammar, she corrected them. Even her preacher sometimes, he often spoke with incorrect grammar, and she loved to go correct him after service. Thankfully, he loved her and laughed about it. But anyways, so I was always nervous because, of course, especially in the beginning when I first met Brother Presson, I wanted to make a good impression on her. So I was always thinking, okay, am I adding an ly here or what? True story. I was always nervous about that. So here we go. I should have gone back to 6th grade grammar. Never use sure, real, or bad as adverbs. The adverb forms are surely, really, badly. That cake was sure good. No, it wasn't, but it was surely good. He is real nice. No, he's not. He's really nice. And I did bad on my geography test. No, you didn't, but you did do badly. Add those ly's. Think B. Underline the correct adjective or adverb in parentheses to complete the sentence. In the blank, put adjective if you choose adjective, put adverb if you choose the adverb. All right, you are doing 2 things. So on your paper, underneath your Think A on page 227, this would be, you'd have Think A up here, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, whatever we did on there. Think B. And I want you to numbers 1 through 10 and do those, of course. But I'm going to do 11 and 12 with you. Is that showing up? Yes, it is. 11. Those who drive careless or carelessly have accidents. All right. Those who drive how? How is my key word here, my key question. Those who drive, I hope you're all saying carelessly is correct. So I'm going to write carelessly on my line, and this is how I want your paper to look as well. Now I have to ask myself, is it an adverb or adjective? I kind of already answered that because I asked myself the adverb question. Those who drive how is an adverb question, so what is it going to be? Oh, adverb. Plus I added what? An ly. So adverb and carelessly are my two answers for 11. 12. Babe Ruth could sure or surely hit a baseball. This is not a good example because it's all the same. Babe Ruth could hit what? Or could what? He could sure hit or surely hit how? I guess there's my question, my adverb question. Babe Ruth could hit how? He could hit surely. So my correct choice is surely. And I asked the adverb question how, so therefore, of course, it is an adverb. Let's find an adjective. Oh, wow. 11 through 15 are all adverbs, so you're not doing those anyway, so I didn't give anything away. Let's do 10. You've got a freebie on 10. Here you go. I felt bad or badly after getting my tooth pulled. I felt bad after getting my tooth pulled. I felt badly after getting my tooth pulled. Ugh. See, I struggle with those because they really sound similar. They don't sound terribly incorrect. But what is bad modifying here? Bad or badly. It's describing, what's our verb here? I felt. It's describing I here. So what are we describing? We're describing a noun. Therefore, it is an adjective. Oh, these are tough, guys. These are tough. I'll agree with you that they're tough. So do your best on those. My 6th graders last year struggled so much on distinguishing adverbs and adjectives, and I wish we were together so I could help you. I know I say that all the time, but honestly, I mean it with my whole entire heart. I wish we were in class together. Next, you have reading. And all this week, you're lucky. All you're having to do is your read and think. You have one read and think a day. I'm really wanting you to read this and comprehend your questions. By now, we have done, well, by Thursday, we'll have done 41 of these through the whole year because we started number 1. By now, you should be reading those articles and comprehending them so easily. And those questions and those answers should be 100%. And if you have a question on them, what should you do? Flip it over and reread. I want 100% on all those because you guys need to read and comprehend what you're reading. So after reading, after you finish your read and think, go ahead and put it in your blue folder for me on Friday. And I will meet you in health. Let's do health next. I'll see you there. All right, guys, this is our last class, 2 classes of the day. We're going to do health on your own today. You're opening up to page 59, which actually we finished that up. I was thinking, can't remember if we finished this up the other day or not. Last Thursday actually was the last day we had. Maybe not. No, we did not. Actually, let's go back. Let's open up to page 56 in health. 56, going over to 57, I want to give you some of your highlights that we missed for when you do your worksheets. Bottom of page 56. Every part, it says complex characters, that's where I'm at. Highlight this. Every part of your body, now go down to second to last sentence, is made up of tiny living cells. We talked about the cell some on Wednesday. Every part of your body is made up of tiny living cells. Going on over to page 58. Second column, right kind of in the middle, kind of by the bone cell bone cell, a little above the bone cell on the right, second column, highlight. The cell membrane is very careful about what substances it allows to enter the cell. Sister Ferguson in 7th grade science had her 7th graders build a cell city, which was very neat. And so Isabella used, she built her cell city out of Legos, but she used, I think, postcards to build her cell wall. So nothing is allowed into that cell unless the cell wall allows it to pass through. So it's a protectant there. Going over to page 59, organelles at the top in bold, highlight that. And then highlight, perform many chemical reactions and functions that together form the basis of life. That's just like 2 sentences down from organelles. And so important, the nucleus, the nucleus is the head honcho. It controls it all. You'll see that down in the bottom half of your first column, nucleus. Highlight this. The nucleus, often found in the center of the cell, is called the control center for all of the functions which takes place in the cell. And again, have I said that I wish we were together? Because I love talking about the cell. I love doing things with the cell. Distance learning. 2 weeks, guys. It just feels very distant right now, doesn't it? I mean, I'm really struggling with it today. It feels really distant. I miss you guys. All right, second column. Bodybuilders. 1 sentence down, highlight this. Similar tissues in turn are grouped together to form organs, such as your liver, your spleen, your pancreas. Keep highlighting. And the groups of organs performing similar tasks make up the body systems. So you have your organs that are formed, but then your organ tasks make up all of your systems. And that is what we're going into today, is some more of that. So you're going to start reading today. Actually, you're reading page 60 to 63, and you have a quick checkup on page 63 to do. Wow, I like to discuss all of this because this system here is the one that our family seems to struggle with so much. I might talk about that a little bit on Tuesday. We'll see. But all right. So that's your health for today. Get that quick checkup done for me so I can give you a grade on that. And we're going to go right into history from here.
Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump. These are the presidents of the USA. From George Washington until today. George Washington, John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, James Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson. Jackson, Martin Van Buren, William Harrison, John Tyler, James Polk, Zachary Taylor, Willard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, Abraham Lincoln, Andrew Johnson, Ulysses S. Grant, Rutherford B. Hitchens, Barclay Chester, Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison. Grover Cleveland again, William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, William Taft, Woodrow Wilson, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Harry Truman, Dwight Eisenhower, John F. Kennedy, Lyndon Johnson, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H. Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump. These are the presidents of the USA.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that President's song. That's always a fun time. It's always a fun song. We have been talking about our presidents here in history, about our more modern day presidents. And today we're opening up to page, I believe, 255 on your syllabus. Let me double check. 255, yes. Today we are talking about one of my favorite presidents, definitely one of my husband's favorite presidents. He was just an amazing president, and I think one reason why he's one of our favorites is because we have memories of him, because we were alive in the 80s, and that's when his presidential time took place. So President Ronald Reagan is who I'm talking about, and let's read about him today. Page 255. Not everybody liked President Ronald Reagan, but I think conservatives really did. And even today, I think conservatives say often, there's never going to be another president like Ronald Reagan. I don't know that. I know a lot of Republicans who are definitely for Trump. I'm not going to get all political right now, especially with this COVID-19 going on. But I feel Ronald Reagan was an excellent president. Return to the peace through strength at the very bottom of 255. Americans approached the presidential elections of 1980, realizing that something had to be done to restore America's image at home in the U.S. and everywhere else in the world. A change was necessary. I was, in 1980, I was 8 years old. And even during that time, even though I was very young, I remember my dad talking about the upcoming election and about Ronald Reagan, and how we were so desperate as a country for something new and improved. And Ronald Reagan certainly was that for everybody. Next page. Still being held, let me follow along here. The hostages were still being held in Iran. We talked about them on Thursday. And communism was making gains throughout the world. And that's one thing that did not need to keep happening, especially in Latin America. In our country, heavy taxes and expensive social programs had created serious economic problems. That means serious money problems. A patriotic and spiritual revival. The Republican Party nominated Ronald Reagan, and there's a picture of him, and yes, he did pass away in 2004. He was the former governor of California, as their candidate for president to oppose Jimmy Carter. Important part here, you don't have to highlight it, but it is important. Ronald Reagan told the people that he wanted to return America to her Christian values. One good point for him so far. And he wanted to end the abortion, the killing of unborn children. Ding, ding, ding. Another good point for Ronald Reagan. He emphasized the need for America to rebuild its defenses. Remember, we talked about that being the military, that we wanted the world to know that, no, you're not going to push us over. Yes, we can defend ourselves. And Ronald Reagan wanted the world to be aware of that. Another good thing for Ronald Reagan. And to take a strong stand against communism in the world. In other words, he wasn't just looking to the U.S., but he wanted to help the rest of the world. So far, does he sound like a good president? Yes and amen. Christians, he said he wanted to revive America's strength, dignity, and pride because America was meant to be a city on a hill. Wonder where he got that little phrase from. Anybody know? Putting forth the beacon of liberty for all the world to see. Because of his effective speaking ability, Reagan became known as the great communicator, and he was certainly that. He wasn't like me, who has to stop and start all over again all the time and stutters and stammers and spits and fats. He was an excellent communicator. Kind of like Brother, his name just left me. Brother Osborne. He's been at our church several times and he speaks so eloquently, and it's like you want to hold on to every one of his words because he speaks so awesome. That's the way Ronald Reagan was. He was a great communicator. He got his point across where people liked to hear it. Christians become politically active. In the 1980 presidential election, large numbers of Bible-believing Christians became actively involved in the political process. They did this by educating people on the issues, by encouraging people to vote, and by taking responsibility to vote themselves. They realized that Ronald Reagan represented a return to traditional and family values, and that is what we needed. Peace, opportunity. See, Ronald Reagan spoke so much better than me. Peace, opportunity, and prosperity under God. Ronald Reagan, the first president since Dwight Eisenhower to serve 2 4-year terms. So let me explain that. Every president serves for 4 years. They have an opportunity at the end of that first 4 years to run for president again. If they win, they can serve another 4 years. But at the end of that 4 years, which is actually 8, they can no longer be president, which is a good thing. It's a rule that needs to take place in America. But he was the first president, since Dwight Eisenhower that actually served 2 full terms. On March 30th, 1981, I'm at the second column at the top. Just 2 months after his inauguration, President Reagan was shot by John Hinckley Jr. while walking from a Washington hotel to his car. There is actual footage of that on YouTube. If any of you want to get your parents' permission first, please, to look that up, you need to go to a correct website for that. After being rushed to surgery, Reagan made a rapid recovery and was soon back at work in the White House. He was shot, but thank the Lord he was not killed. The Reagan Revolution, there was another member of his staff that was shot that day as well, and the story doesn't end as happily, but we're going to go on. You can look that up if you want to. Reagan was able to make long-range plans that put America on a more stable and conservative course. Highlight this. The attempt to return America to the traditional values of church, family, and free enterprise became known as the Reagan Revolution. The president's first confrontation with liberal values was his attempt to cut government welfare spending and restore the ability of the family to make its own financial decisions. Although he was forced to compromise with the politicians who controlled Congress, the president succeeded in cutting taxes, which spurred American job growth and productivity while bringing down inflation. This cutting of taxes was very important. When individuals are taxed too much, they cannot buy the things that they need for their families. Therefore, they don't put their money back into the economy to help build the economy. It's definitely a cycle for sure. And then businesses cannot sell the things that they make. When businesses cannot sell their goods and have to pay heavy taxes, they must charge higher prices for their goods. And they must lay people off from their jobs. So, bottom line of all that, lower taxes help America. The Reagan Doctrine. How far am I supposed to read today? Let's double check really quickly. To page 257. I get excited about Reagan and I just talk. Let's go ahead and read the Reagan Doctrine over to page 257. President Reagan restored the strength of the U.S. military, enabling the nation to exercise peace through strength. Highlight this. He believed in stopping communism before it could attack and enslave a country, an idea which became known as the Reagan Doctrine. So we had the Reagan Revolution, and down here we have the Reagan Doctrine, and I hope I said to highlight that underlining with Reagan Doctrine. The United States liberates Grenada. In 1983, President Reagan proved he would take military action against communism. Cuba's dictator, Fidel Castro, I don't know if you've heard of him. He was definitely a bad guy from the dark side. And he planned to invade the nation of Grenada and use it as a military base to invade the mainland of South America. To prevent a full-scale communist invasion, President Reagan sent American troops there. The Grenadians welcomed the American soldiers, and with the help of armed forces from neighboring islands, the Americans quickly rounded up the advanced guard of Cubans and shipped them back to Cuba. In other words, you are not welcome here. Get out, and America's going to make sure you do. Go America. We're going to pick up on page 257 tomorrow, defending traditional values. A lot of awesome space stuff happened while Ronald Reagan was president. A lot of, some of it wasn't awesome, but super memorable space things. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Everybody have a great Monday. I can't remember off the top of my head. Oh, tomorrow's like Taco Tuesday. Also, it's Cinco de Mayo, Cinco something, Cinco, tomorrow. So definitely celebrating the Mexican heritage and Mexican food. So come up with a good outfit for tomorrow. I have no idea what I'm going to do for tomorrow for Spirit Day. We don't have a lot of taco stuff around the house, but you're supposed to be being creative and using stuff around your house, not going to the store to get something. So we'll see what I come up with. I love you guys, miss you, and I hope you enjoy Spirit Week. Don't forget to send your picture. There's a hashtag somewhere, and I didn't write it down, of where you're supposed to have your parent take a picture. Take a video. Oh my goodness, like sing and dance, do something. Because it's Spirit Week. I will see you tomorrow on Taco Tuesday.